On this episode of the podcast, we're going to be talking about someone trying to buy drugs off me, failing to reply to a text, and the finances of Star Trek. Welcome back to another edition of the Luke Who's Talking podcast with me, Luke. So let's get into the first story now. I will say straight up, I'm not a drug dealer. Don't buy drugs. Don't do it, kids. Well, or anybody. You don't have to necessarily be a kid, so don't do it. Now, this was interesting. I was down at the park, and I was down there I was down there to watch a friend of mine who coaches some football. So I was down there to see them because it was nearing the end of a football season. So I thought I'll go down there, see what it's all about. So I went down to the park and I decided to go for just a little bit of a stroll because there's the park, or the ground I was playing at, is near the river and there's a flood wall and whatever there as well. So the sports ground's on one side of the flood wall, and then there's a playground and a bit of a boardwalk and whatever on the other side of the sports ground. On the other side of the flood wall. So I thought I'd just go for a stroll. So I walked around the flood wall, went for a little bit of walk along the boardwalk, and then come back through the flood wall. There's a tunnel, so you can go through it, which I did. And near there is a skate park. It's very popular. There's always a lot of kids there, a lot of people there on their skateboards, bicycles, doing tricks, whatever, being youths. Anywho, so I just sort of saw them and was like, oh, yeah, right. And I then continued to go from there to stroll over to the sports ground. Anyway, two people come up to me, and we're like, oh, do you know where we can buy some hash or, marijuana from, blah, blah, blah. We've been told this is where you can get it from. And I just sort of laughed it off and said, no, I don't know where you can buy said stuff from at all. No, and the guy's like, oh, we've been, this is where we've been told we can get it from. I don't know, couldn't say. So I just sort of continued walking after that. I don't know what these two guys did. They might have gone over to the some of the skater boys, but maybe the skater boys might have said, "See you later, boys." Brutes. I thought to myself, do I look like a drug dealer? Like I went and saw my friend and said, oh, I just had some people ask me where they could buy some marijuana from, and I just thought, wow, do I look like a drug dealer? I did have sunglasses on. Maybe they were like, this guy's got sunglasses on. And I think I might have had a red T-shirt on with like a seal on it. And so maybe, if you wear sunglasses and you have red T-shirts with a seal on it, that means you're a guy to see if you want to buy some specialty products. I was, when you're having a bit of a text conversation with somebody, and all of a sudden you might send off a text and you won't get a reply back. That is something that annoys me a little bit. It really depends. I suppose it depends on the context of the conversation. Mate, in my situation, I was asking the person a question and they didn't get back to me, and I was rather unsatisfied with that. I'll just, there you go, say it straight up. I wasn't too thrilled with that. But I guess if they had asked me a question and it's like, oh, do you want to go out Friday, or I'll meet you wherever on Friday and at X time, and I'd go, okay, yeah, that sounds good. Like, I feel that doesn't warrant a reply back to me because the conversation's sort of been shut down at that point. But anywho, so I was texting somebody, we're having a conversation, and I sent them a message, didn't send anyone back. So, I wasn't that thrilled with that. Now, like about a week later, I was going into work, and this person sent me a message asking about a couple of things. Now, I didn't reply back because I knew that in the next 5 to 10 minutes, I would be seeing that person. So in that situation, I thought, I don't need to reply back to this because I'm at my car, I'm going to walk to the office, I'll see this person, I don't need to reply back to them. All right? That makes sense to me. Anywho, so when I get to the office, I see them and we have a conversation about, what their message that they sent me entailed. Now, when I got there, though, they were like, oh, yeah, I'm not replying to my messages. And I was like, ease up. I sent you a message the other week and you haven't replied back to it. Like, just calm down. You know, you got Sally there who thinks she's so awesome going, oh, well, you didn't reply back to my messages. And you're like, just, Sally, calm down. Take a load off, mate. Ease it. Ease up. I didn't reply back to your message because I knew that I was going to see you in like 5 minutes. But you didn't reply back to mine that I sent you last week that I feel deserved to reply back. Because, you know, I hadn't seen you. I wasn't going to see you. Come on. So, you know, Sally's there with her attitude and, oh, jeez. Anyway, it was all resolved. But, yeah, just, you know, in that context, I was like, just, you know, come on, you can reply back to me. And then, you know, Sally sends me a message. I don't reply back. And then she has the cheek to be like, oh, not replying to my messages. Oh. Classic Sally. Classic. Out of a Cheryl mould, I think. So I've been watching Star Trek, the original series, on Netflix. I've actually stopped watching it. I watched all 3 series and found it, like, it's not a bad show. I thought it was a decent show. However, I've got some questions about the finances of Starfleet Command. Basically, how are they funded? How is Starfleet Command funded? Who is paying for Starfleet Command? That's what I want to know. You know, do they have some sort of technology business where they develop things and sell them off, and that's how they make their money? You know, do Starfleet develop ships and equipment, etc., and sell that off to the Vulcans or whoever else in other galaxies? Do they have like a business like that where they get their funds for Star? Because it wouldn't be cheap to run a spaceship and crew. I think Captain Kirk says that he has 300 or 400 people on the ship. So who's paying? Who's paying? Who is paying for this? Who? How are they paying for it, really? Not like who cares about who's paying for it, but how are they paying for it? Are they stealing gold or something off of, the Starfleet Command have some sort of elaborate minerals mining scheme where they mine all these minerals and sell them off to other species and whatever else at a huge profit? I don't know, like, how do they finance, how is Starfleet Command financed? And what do they get paid as well? What salaries? What are the salaries of the people? You know, I'm beeping. Excuse me. What are the salaries? Like, what is Kirk? What is his wage? Yeah, what is the wage of a Starfleet commander? That'd be interesting, actually. I wonder what they're paid. You know, old Dr. McCoy, what's he on? What's his wage? What's his intergalactic wage? Spock, what's he on? You know, what is he? What's his wage? You know, is he on 50,000 a year, 100,000 a year? I don't know. What's a military, you know, captain or something? What are they on? What's their wage? I don't know. It probably depends on how far up the rank you are. But, you know, Kirk, he is the ship captain, so I'd imagine he'd be on all right cashola, and he'd have plenty of it too, because it's not like he's going places where he can spend it. And also another query I have about the good Captain Kirk, how is he still the captain of the Starship Enterprise? He gets them into so many situations. How has he not been, you know, like court-martialed or something like that? And he is such an intergalactic love rat as well. You know, he's always having some sort of fling with some space babe. You know, it's like, oh, how is this guy still in charge of the ship? And how, you know, why hasn't he been ousted for Spock? I'd be, if I was running Starfleet Command, I'd be like, Kirk, you're done. Spock take over, and I'd have Kirk, you know, directing space traffic or something. There's so many times I watched it, I've thought, how is this guy still in charge of the ship? And how come he hasn't been, you know, sacked? Just, jeez. Starfleet, get a grip. Get a grip. Well, that is it for this episode of the Luke Who's Talking podcast. Don't forget you can email us, lukewho'stalkingpod@gmail.com. Follow us on the Twitters or like us on the Facebooks, and listen to us on your favourite podcast app. And I'll catch you next time.